live in X. You can manually post it using the guidelines. All right, I don't know. Whew. All right, I don't know. Peace, and blessings. Haki Ami here, the Success Scholar. Thank you for tuning in. Am I live? Yes. Okay. All right, so yes. So last night in Washington D.C., I was able to attend the opening night, and so they are going tonight as well for Trevor Noah. Many people know Trevor Noah from the Daily Show that he did for what, I don't know, 7 years or something like that, maybe. I can look that up and see how long he did. But so I just wanted to, just share some of my insights. I don't go to a whole lot of comedy performances, but I just figured, particularly several different dynamics, and I knew I would probably see a lot of people. I thought that, well, first, he was in Baltimore, I believe, the 7th and the 8th, which I think was a 6th and 7th, which I believe was a Thursday and Friday, maybe, but I know he was definitely here on the one particular Friday because I was considering going to that, but I always had DC in the back as a backup because I thought I probably would have to go somewhere else or do something else that evening. But I did go to the Warner Theater in DC, and he's there for the next 3 days, tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. So yes, so individuals can still catch him. But like I said, I don't go to comedy shows like all the time. But just some people you just feel like you have to catch like every once in a while, and certainly he's one of them. Particularly, I saw an interview that he recently did with Bernie Sanders, and that was like a 1.5 hour interview. And, and of course, his Grammy performance. And let me just say, he really kind of, he did, go in on that, like the whole thing of what, where he's at now. So there is potentially a lawsuit with President Trump doing a lawsuit against him. But he just shared the whole story, and he made it comical. How when he flew somewhere, and he just said when he got back, his phones, every single app was literally going off. And people were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Call me. Are you okay?" So he was saying how people were worried about him, worried about his health, and in case some crazy person do anything. But he just turned it into a joke. I mean, he did a Trump voice. He did Trump voice several times throughout this performance. This was Washington D.C., of course, and so it was just really, really amazing. But he did some other parts in the story. So he did one skit where he sort of suggested that we were invaded by aliens, right? And he sort of said made Trump the leader, suggested Trump is the king, he's the king of the world, take the aliens to him, right? So, and he did a little thing where Trump was, yes, I'm the king, and I, was talking to the aliens. So he did that. So that was hilarious. So I enjoyed that. But let's see, what else did he do? He was talking about. Well, he did a Harriet Tubman thing. And that's really interesting because I was just with some of the descendants of Harriet Tubman as well as Frederick Douglass just Friday, no, Saturday. Saturday we were in Eastern Shore for the 208th birthday of Frederick Douglass, and so that was a good time. And so I just had a great few past couple of days. And let's see, what else did he do? What else did he do? Yeah, he talked about the Grammys a little bit, the Harriet Tubman thing, and he talking about growing up in South Africa, of course. And first he came on. There was one comedian that came on before, someone from Haiti, a brother from Haiti. So that was really good. But he did give a shout out to the African American History Museum. So he was able to go there maybe today or yesterday or day, I'm sorry, or one day. He said he was able to go, and he talked about starting from the bottom of that. So it's impressive. That in South Africans, one thing I learned, they are really in tune, out of all the African countries, I believe, their nuances or connections to black people in America and the culture of America is, very unique and sophisticated. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the word for sophisticated. I mean, they are very interconnected, and I'm not sure if that's, well, obviously South Africa is a very popular destination for large amounts of repats. I think that's perhaps like the largest diaspora, and I mean, Ghana definitely has a large number of diasporans, but South Africa does as well. Somebody just posted that rather recently, which country has the largest diasporan population, and so people were debating, was it South Africa or was it Ghana? So if anybody know that actual answer, that would be interesting. So, but let's see. So he talked about the Haitian guy who shared a story of his father serving in the army under Papa Doc Duvier at that time. Who knows when, was that the 80s or so yeah. But so it was an interesting story that he shared. He made it funny. But let's see, what else did he do? What else did he do? I don't know, he talked about sex or something and relationships, and but he is a master, communicator, and just funny. And I just wonder, how much comedians change their actual scripts or their the segments, if you will. Like I wonder, will he do the same thing tonight? So I don't have nobody that I know going tonight or a different night, but I just want to compare because it's educational for me as well. Because it's rare that people are able to perform, and I don't go to just any and every performance, the different music artists that come into town. Like it could be one every month if you really wanted to find something between Baltimore and DC. If you wanted to be just like a music head, you could find some kind of singers coming to town or something. But no, I don't get up to go out to different comedy things. But I was just like, all right, I definitely will, go out to that. And I did watch. I'm one of them weird guys that will watch the correspondence dinners, the roasts that they do at the correspondence dinners. So that's always entertaining. And I saw he did one in 2022, so I did watch that. I saw that before, but I went back and watched it again just to, because I never like watched his Daily Show that he was on. I don't know where it came on at, but so it's just interesting to observe, someone come from South Africa really, truly, and really command such a large audience like that. So I was just curious. And one of the things that he did that I wanted to really, it helps me to be able to communicate, the different global networks or the global ethnic groups, shall I say, in the DC area. So he he did he just did a call and response, and he was just asking like, where are my white people, where are my black people, and then he said Indians, and did he say Africans? Did he say Caribbeans? It was a few amount of Caribbeans were in there, and he said Indians, and then he said Chinese or Asians or something. He said, and it wasn't that many, so that was really interesting. I was like, that's interesting. So I was just curious, for instance, why Asians. I mean, I don't want to sound stupid. Like, do Asians go to comedy shows? That's not even a good, intelligent question. I mean, obviously, they go, but I mean, do they not know who Trevor Noah is? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what's that about? Like, but there was a bunch of Indians. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, that's what they said. Or anybody from India. So that's something. I'm one of those things. So I'm just kind of giving an overview. But I'm very curious if do Chinese people know Trevor Noah like that? Do he have a fan base like that? So this helps me in my business assessments and knowing, for instance, how things like pop culture and how pop culture and comedy and influence kind of intersect between different ethnic groups, and how comedy is something that brings different people together, right? And so that's one of the, I was just curious, and I really did want to go into the Baltimore event, but unfortunately I wasn't able. I think it probably was a little cheaper even, but interesting, because Sunday I was in Philadelphia, and one of the sisters, I was at a paint and sip, no, just a tea sip, and one of the sisters that was there, she actually said she came down to Baltimore to see him. So that was a big coincidence to meet somebody that was actually going to that. And she was actually a teacher, so that was a really interesting experience to meet people that actually went. But I didn't see nobody that I knew. That was like, wow. So this is like, it was at the Warner Theater, and it was totally packed. So I just wondered, like, would I know anybody there in DC? And no, I don't know everybody. So that just made me realize that, okay, let me start staying in my lane. But I just wanted to have a good laugh and not have somebody, like, I don't know, just use every other word, you know what I'm saying? Like, every other word being a F-bomb or something. So that's one thing I appreciate, about him. He doesn't like use that many words like that. So he can have, although he talked about sex that may not have been like, I mean, yeah, it may not be good for 18 and under or something, you know what I'm saying? So, but nowadays you never know. But that's about all I wanted to share. I didn't want to come long, but I just enjoyed this event. It was certainly enlightening and many different levels. So, I had some good laughs, and there was a global some things you need to be in tune to on a global level in order to understand the punchlines of the joke. So that was, I was sort of like challenging myself to understand certain things. Like he said something, I mean, I don't know, it might not have been, I ain't gonna say politically correct, but something about China having, they wanting girls or they wanting boys, something to that. I didn't, so I wasn't up on the big issues about China's birth and what they need to grow the population or something, or reduce the reducing the population. So so people kind of like, oh, but some people laugh, and I didn't catch it as well. Oh my God, he did do a Diddy joke. He did do a Diddy joke. I didn't catch it for a second, but but he says something about the president of Venezuela that was abducted. I mean, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I guess he was abducted from his country, and he says something about, and he got taken to the same prison that Diddy was taken to, and he says, and I don't know how he framed it, but he said something about, yes, and they take your oil, something. I mean, and he put it together like, and people were thinking he was talking about a president, and he said something about oil, make you think that he was somebody talking like about like Venezuela, as that yeah Venezuela, but then he like said yeah, and they took your oil and put you in jail, and you end up with Maduro. I'm sorry, Maduro. And everybody started laughing, and I didn't get it at first, and then I was like, a couple minutes later, I was like, oh, I get it. So he was like saying a Diddy joke about his baby powder, baby oil, or whatever. So that was funny, y'all. So that's about it, man. So have a good night, everybody. So that's a good thing. So if you can catch out the next couple shows that he does, I'm sorry I did my spoilers, but for those that's not going, you'll be okay. So just definitely going out to check them out. Low costly, but every once in a while you can do that, and it would be well worth it. So, all right, enjoy everybody's evening. Peace and blessings. Shoot. Oh, stop my. Oh gosh.